We know the Apostle Paul sent 2 letters to Corinth, and he wrote his letter to Rome during his stay in Corinth. However, I did not know much about Corinth, so I did a bit of research.
Well, I have not given it much thought, but now that you mention it, it sounds like an interesting topic.
You know how there are various names for the same place or person in the Bible? Well, I noticed on maps that Corinth is sometimes spelled with a C and sometimes with a K. So I looked up why and found that Corinth with a C is the English spelling, while Corinth with a K is the Greek spelling.
Names in the Bible never disappoint.
Now for the beginning.
A very good place to start.
In the beginning, people may have been in the area as early as 6500 BC. However, permanent settlements began around 1000 BC. Corinth grew and became a major commercial and cultural center by the 8th and 7th centuries. They developed architecture, which we know as the Corinthian column, and naval vessels such as the Tyrrhene warship. They also built roadways and artificial waterways, and the first chapel was built in the 7th century. Another development, which demonstrates an awareness of health, was burying their dead in areas away from the residents.
Interesting. I never thought that burying the dead is a sign of advancement, but it makes sense.
True. At first I thought the chapel may have been a Jewish synagogue. However, I found that worship was based on 3 different cults of local deities.
What is a local deity?
Well, I learned that a local deity is a personal god attached to a specific location, and the deity cannot move far. These local deities are protectors against various threats, while the people made offerings to gain favor.
Oh, yes. I remember reading that the new Christian church had to show God was everywhere, which was not easily accepted by the various cults.
True again. Corinth continued to grow until 146 BC, when the Roman general Mummius destroyed it in retaliation for the Corinthians attacking a Roman city.
Sadly, that still happens today.
General Mummius killed the men and sold the women and children into slavery, turning Corinth into a ghost town, occupied by a small, non-Corinthian population engaged in farming.
Yikes! Why did Paul stay in such a lousy location?
Well, things changed. In 44 BC, Julius Caesar decided to recolonize Corinth with 16,000 people. This led to another prosperous time due to Roman development and 2 ports they used for trade.
What were the economic conditions like when Paul was in Corinth?
Well, in order to better understand Corinth's economy, it is important to understand that its location was a gateway to other parts of the world. This made it ideal for Paul to write letters to other areas and communicate with people traveling through. Corinth is located west of Athens on the south side of an isthmus, which connects the Peloponnese Peninsula with mainland Greece. Through the isthmus were routes to Athens, Thebes, and beyond. Corinth controlled 2 ports on the isthmus. These allowed easy importing and exporting of products, and a quicker way to transport products than it would be sailing around the peninsula. Ships could unload their products, have them transported across the isthmus, then load the products onto another ship located on the other side.
I see. The location provided a number of great trade route options.
Which is probably why Caesar colonized it.
What were the people or culture like?
As you know, Paul visited Corinth in 52 AD and stayed there for around 18 months. Corinth at the time was a decadent, prosperous, and diverse Roman city. It was known for its luxury, wealth, and moral laxity, including associations with sacred prostitutes and polytheistic culture. Initially, Paul taught at a synagogue, which had people with a wide range of backgrounds, such as former pagans, half-Jewish converts, and Jews. Unfortunately, there were divisions, quarrels, and injustices, indicating a lack of ideal Christian unity and charity. And so many converts found it difficult to break free from the previous pagan lifestyles, especially regarding sexual immorality. Some people even became drunk during the Lord's Supper. Paul decided to turn his focus towards the Gentiles. As you know, Paul addressed his concerns in his 2 letters to the Corinthians.
Well, this is interesting. I can see why it was an advantage for Paul to stay there for a while due to its location. However, I don't think I would have wanted to live there.
And no doubt. I do want to point out that while Corinth is a prosperous city today, the original Corinth was destroyed by an earthquake in 1858. Modern Corinth is 3 miles northeast of Biblical Corinth.
I have read that it's a great place to visit when you're in the neighborhood.